Okay, so back in the honeymoon suite today, gang, to hang some more shutters. And I have that one there, which I'm just about to mark, and that one there, which go on that window there. So let's get to it. So first of all, we need to mark the hinge position on the shutter. So we'll find the center point and then come in either end a nominal distance. I just like 100 mil because that's the way I like to do it. And yeah, so the shutter is 193 long. Half of that is what, 86 and a half, I think. No, 96 and a half. 96.5. And to double check, you just measure from the other end. There you have it. And then we'll come up 100 and come up 100. So if that's the bottom, the hinge starts on the line that way. And if that's the top, the hinge starts on the line and comes back towards the center. And then the middle hinge is spread across the center of the mark. So here's what I mean about hinge placement. There's our mark, and we'll just slide it up and screw it off there. For the center one, there's our little mark, and we spread it across either side of the line for the middle. And then this is the top, there's our mark. We'll just slide it up to the line. So it's effectively working back to the center of the shutter. So just a quick word on hinges. You can see the cutout down that side of the hinge, through there, there and there. That side is your guideline to go on the door or on the shutter in this case. So effectively that line will line up with the edge of the door. The other thing you want to do is when you're initially positioning the hinges, just put one screw in the middle, and then you hang it like that, and then you put one screw into your jamb, or in this case, the sash, so that if you need to move it for whatever reason, you've got the ability to do so without having 3 pre-drilled holes or drilled holes that you can't really move around if there's a slight variation of where you need to go. Drill it in, just crank it once. That's all. You know it's tight and you know it's home. If that one's done, I'll just go grab the other shutter and we'll do the same thing. So you may have noticed I left out the painting part of this shutter process. It was intentional because no one likes to watch paint dry. So I've made these shutters just a little bit inside the overall height of the sash. So because of that, I've blocked up underneath the shutter on the ledge here, just to give me a final position when I screw it in. So a piece of MDF and a sanding block, nice and soft, should do the job. And then I'll just set the shutter on that, hold it in place, and then just put a screw into the sash frame. And now the test. Wow. So once you have finalised the position of the shutter or the door, with the one screw in both the door and the frame, or the jamb, depending on what you're doing. You can pretty much go off and screw all the rest, put all the rest of the screws in to finalize and secure the job. But before I do that, I'm just going to hang the other one as well, just to make sure that they both close together and they're both nice and even, so we don't have to make any adjustments to either one. So let's get the other one up. And yes, I'm fully aware that this would be the perfect time for some elevator music. So I think that's worked a charm. Let's have a look at the final position. And now we know that all of the shutters are nice and even with each other. They close and function properly. We can go ahead and secure them off. Something I'll touch on in a few minutes' time is the hinge and screw selection for this job, but I just wanted to quickly explain the methodology behind the placement of these shutters on the window sashes. So I didn't have another option other than to screw them to the window sashes, because anywhere else, and the sash, when it was opened inwards, would have fouled on the shutter and therefore been restricted. And thus this method still allowed for the shutters and the window sashes to work independently of each other. Now with these little self-tapping screws that I'm using for the fixing into the PVC window sashes, it doesn't always mean that the gun has to crank, or the rattle gun, or the drill has to crank when you drive it in, but you can still feel if it's tight or not. So if you're wondering why it's not cranking on every screw that I put in, that's why, but you can still feel it when you're screwing it in, that it is biting and you're getting a good fixing. However, the MDF and the other screws that I'm using, these ones, which are kind of just like normal wood screws, are biting every time, hence why you can hear the drill crank when I tighten them in there. And that's it, gang, all done. Shutters nice and easy, installed, and very, very functional. Now I just have to get some latches, or maybe a magnet system to hold these closed. The reason being is because I didn't want these hinges to be too big, but also I needed screws that were big enough to get a good fixing into the PVC and the MDF. So they're not ideal and they do stick out a bit, as you can see. Hence, when you close the shutter, the screw heads hit one another, and then you get that. So it just bounces open a little bit. That's okay, because when they're painted and they've got the latches on there, no one will be any the wiser. So thanks for coming on this wild ride with me into the bowels of how to install some internal window shutters made from MDF. All done now. I've installed the other two upstairs on the second floor in the main chateau in the family suite, or mousquetaire room. So yeah, that's it. Otherwise, in this room now, we've just gotten a delivery of a bathtub in addition to the shower base. So the bathtub will sort of go in about that spot there. It's just final positioning to be determined, and the shower base on the back wall in there too. So now for me, it's just a matter of finalising the paint on these trims, which are the glazing trims for that sash over there. And then I've got to paint the back of those two little shutters as well in the black. So yeah, always lots to do, but thanks for watching this one and playing along at home. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Show some love to a fellow YouTuber. Anyway, I will talk to you in the next one. Bye for now.